Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Babbling Irons video. Match preview today for you guys. Sheffield United at home in the Premier League on Saturday. Not going to be an easy game. They may have lost 8-0 last week to Newcastle, but it's still going to be a very tough game. They almost beat Spurs the week before away from home, so do not write this game off as a win because it's going to be tougher than you think. And I'm going to explain exactly why in a second as we break it down. But before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, as that massively helps us out. And yeah, let's get into the breakdown. So before we kind of look at the tactical side of things, let's look at how we both fare in the Premier League so far this season. Both played 6 games, 7th versus 20th. They are rock bottom at the moment with 1 point and 0 wins. Whereas we're sitting pretty comfortable right now with 10 points from our opening 6 games with 3 wins, which, considering our fixture lists the start of the season, very good. 4 of those 6 games came against Brighton, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. So we're doing pretty well, but it's important we get back on track after 2 defeats, back-to-back defeats in the Premier League, and get back with a win this time out against Sheffield United, who a little bit of a rivalry there. It's not going to be an easy game. They're going to be up for it, and we definitely shouldn't be taking this lightly because although they lost 8-0 to a very, very on it and good Newcastle side last weekend, that's done now. That game's finished for them, and it's a new challenge for them. It's going to be interesting to see how we line up and how we tactically approach this because we're not going to be able to do what we usually do. We saw in midweek against Lincoln that when we are asked to break a team down and when we have a lot of the possession, we struggle. It doesn't matter the level of opposition we have. That's just how it is. That's just how it's always been under David Moyes. And, you think of the best attacking output we've had from David Moyes' teams over the last 3 years. It's been on the counter, it's been set pieces, it's been those moments. It hasn't been breaking the lines, it hasn't been breaking teams down. So Sheffield United are going to be tough to crack. And yeah, they're actually averaging more possession than us so far this season by like 1%. I think we're both ridiculously low at 36 and 35%, respectively. So neither team really likes the ball. Sheffield United more so that maybe their level of quality isn't the same as most Premier League teams, so naturally they're going to drop off in possession. But we don't really have that excuse. That's just how we set up under David Moyes. And yes, so far this season we've played some tough opposition, so probably slightly negates the fact that we've got less possession than Sheffield United this season. But still, it's just the way we play. So when you come up in these home matches against a team that's just got promoted back to the Premier League and hasn't really invested much in the squad and has lost some key players, that's when the emphasis is on you guys to break them down. And we struggle to do that. We really, really do. And that's my biggest concern about these games is finding, other than a set piece or other than a counter attack of our own, where the goals are going to come from. And at the moment, we really are heavily dependent on those set pieces from James Ward-Prowse, Souček getting on with his head, Kudus against in Europe. So yeah, it's going to be tough to break them down. They're going to be very rigid. They're going to sit in. They're going to be defensive, as you would expect. And it's not going to be an easy task. But one thing I liked about the Lincoln result is we finally kept a clean sheet. It had been 16 matches in all competitions before we'd kept a clean sheet. So it's something to build on, regardless of the opposition. They're average League One team. So to keep a clean sheet was expected. That's no disrespect to Lincoln. That's just how it is. So we go into this with the same mentality. Really, it's a team we should not be conceding against, especially at home, and it's a team we should be putting away fairly comfortably if we have any serious ambitions about this season. So yeah, Sheffield United. Let's kind of break down how they are offensively. So far this season, they've only scored 5 goals out of 6 games. So their attacking output is really, really poor. I think maybe the lowest in the league. So from an attacking output point of view, we should be okay. That's the whole point here. Is we should be building on that clean sheet from midweek, and we need to start solidifying our defense a little bit more. And I'm gonna give you guys my wanted lineup, and maybe it might surprise you a little bit with some of the changes, but it needs to happen. We can't keep playing the same defense that isn't keeping clean sheets. That's just how I view it. And, certain individuals have been making mistakes. So you have to kind of take action on those mistakes if it continuously happens, and it has done. So yeah, from a defensive point of view, I'd really like a clean sheet. That is something that would please me more than, winning of 3-1, say. I would prefer to win 2-0 in this sort of game, just because it would show me that, defensively we are moving in the right direction. And, when we're coming up against a team like Sheffield United at home, we're getting the business done, and we're getting the business done relatively comfortably. So yeah, from an attacking output point of view for Sheffield United, they don't create much. They're going to try and play in moments like us. They're going to try and get some set pieces. They're going to try and hit us on the break in times where they can if we're caught up field. But they're not going to have a lot of the ball. They're not going to be a team that comes there and dominates play and bosses possession and tries to play around us, which would actually suit us to a T. I think we would score maybe 3-4 goals easily against them if they try to do that with our kind of counter-attacking prowess at the moment. So we're going to have to find other ways to break them down. And yeah, they're going to be very rigid. They're going to be tight. They're going to be in their numbers, and it's going to be up to us to break it down. And how do we do that? How do we line up and break this team down? Because it's not going to be an easy task. We really do struggle when we've got the ball. So you then look at players like Paqueta. You then look at players like Ben Rama, if he's going to be starting to be the main creators. I think that is one of our main problems as to why we struggle to break teams down. It's not just because of the system, because that definitely plays a part. But when we kind of are expected to boss games and are expected to have possession, we don't really have that many creative players in our team. When you look at that midfield of Ward-Prowse, who's relatively safe on the ball, is good from set pieces. You've got Alvarez, who's kind of playing as the six, and he will try and play forward passes, but it's not really that creative final third player that you'd want. And then you've got Paqueta, who may or may not be coming back into the midfield after playing out on the left, who is the main creator in this team. And it's very oblivious to everyone that oblivious, that's the wrong word. It's very apparent that Paqueta is the one trying to create, especially when we played Paqueta on the left and the midfield was involved Souček. So that's where my main concern is, because you've got Bowen and Antonio. Antonio creates in a different way, and he's kind of the final third striker. So it's not really his job to be doing that. But then you look at someone like Jared Bowen. Again, it's not really what he does. He's more of a finisher. He's more of an advanced forward rather than a creative winger. So you're then really stuck with Ben Rama, Paqueta, and Emerson, really, because Kufal will get up and down. He'll put in crosses, but it's not that much of a creator or interlinking with play, which you see with Emerson, and he'll drive through and try and create things from the left. But that's really it. We don't really have any other alternative other than set pieces or crosses. So I think Sheffield United will be quite happy with that if they see, players like Kudus who may be on the bench. If someone like Pablo Fornals, who hasn't really been performing recently when he's been given some chances. So I feel like we're still going to lack creativity on Saturday, and it's going to be up to us to break them down. I think it'll be more the second half. We'll see a lot more gaps appear due to the nature of how the game goes. And I would have liked to have seen Kudus start. I just don't think it's going to happen, and it's a difficult one with him because we don't know where he's going to fit in. At the moment, the midfield of Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, and Alvarez, you can't really change it. I know we changed it for Liverpool and Man City, but that was kind of circumstantial. And I really do fully expect that to be the midfield three against Sheffield United again on Saturday. So, yeah, someone like Kudus, he's going to have to buy his time. He's going to have to find his way into the team, because from the Europa League game, he just did not look like a natural winger. He's definitely a better player as kind of the advanced 8 or the number 10 role to roam between the spaces, and that's the exact type of player we need when we're trying to break through a team. So it's why I think the pattern of this game, we're going to struggle in the first half. It's going to be frustrating. Might as well give you my prediction now. I think it'll be 0-0 at half time. And then I think they'll slowly start to open up a little bit. I think we'll have to bring on someone like Kudus to come in the middle, and then we'll start to break them down, and then we'll start to find the gaps. And I think we'll go on to win 2-0 from that position. But the first half's going to be difficult, and it's really important we stay switched on defensively and don't concede. Otherwise, it becomes a very, very tough afternoon. So, yeah, with all of that said, I'm going to give you what I would like to see in the lineup, barring Nakuda starting, who I probably would have started if it wasn't for the midfield three performing so well as it has done. Pretty similar to how we've been seeing most of the lineups. The only couple changes really is Souček coming out and bringing Ben Rama back in just for more creativity. And I would drop a Ged. I would bring in Mavropanos at the back. I would shift Zuma over to the left centre back role, and I would give that a go. I would not be playing Aged in this game. I think too many mistakes have happened, and you can't keep making the same mistakes. Although I do rate Aged, and I think he has potential to be a very, very good player for us if he can find that consistency. He almost needs that kick up the backside. He almost needs to be dropped to kind of elevate that performance. I'm hoping again, and it gives Mavropanos a go, who's been very solid in the couple games we've seen him so far. So that's how I would do it. My prediction's 2-0, as I mentioned before. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about what I've said. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's going to be a tough game? Do you think it's going to be a walk in the park? Let me know, because I'm slightly nervous for this one, and I really hope we do solidify what a lot of talk has been in and around the club, that we're trying to head back to that kind of top 6, top 7 push this season. And these are the types of games you just have to be winning, and you have to be winning them comfortably in order to be, in a position at the end of the season where you're in touch and distance of that top 7. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Leave a like on the video, as always. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And yeah, until the next one, come on, you Irons.